name is Omar. I'm an exercise and sports scientist.
Okay, already off to a bad start. Hello, everybody. Future Omar here from the editing studio. Look, I end up rambling for way too long, so if you want to hear about the 2026 goals, which was the whole point of the video, please skip to 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Otherwise, enjoy the ramble and have a great day.
I'm studying exercise science and rehab. This is 2026, so this is my final year. There's no real structure to this video. This is going to be really interesting. I was practicing a lot. I've literally created a list. The purpose of this video is, and it all got birthed from reading. So I have struggled. I mean, that's a story for another time. But I've really struggled with reading my whole life, and only in the past few months, I just thought, you know what, I just want to start reading. I've read like maybe five books since then. For example, I read Atomic Habits. Great book. 2025, just reflecting on that year, I didn't really go into that year with a plan. I really just kind of was winging it, and just to see what would happen. I wanted to post more on YouTube. Just had these ideas in the back of my mind and these goals, and I never really did them. And there was a lot of other stuff going on. I joined a mentorship and uni and all that. And as a result, I think just because so much stuff was going on, I wasn't actually able to. Maybe these are excuses, but I wasn't able to excel at any of them. It's a thing that I commonly do, even just with my own training. It's just one of those things. I get attached to too many things. I always want to try stuff. I'm big into the rehab side of stuff. I'm riddled with injuries and that kind of thing. But those are all stories for another time. I'm already going off topic. So essentially, the point of this is I just want to practice the skill of posting more. I really want to post more on YouTube. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. Since high school, I've always had the itch to, just since then, I just always wanted to post stuff, but I didn't really have the means. And growing up, I wasn't really allowed to do that kind of thing. My parents were quite strict with that. So the point of this is really just to talk about, so here, I'll get my list shamelessly, talk a little bit about who I am, what I do, why I'm doing this, even though I've mentioned it a little bit, explain sort of the goals for 2026. Really, that's what it's about. It's a bit of a vloggity vlog kind of a thing. I've got a whiteboard over there and a calendar. I've literally mapped out what I want to do going into 2026, and based off of Atomic Habits, I've just tried to instill those habits. For example, just going on my phone less when I'm in the bathroom, or standing more, and little things like that. And I've just looked at all my goals and made them really realistic for 2026, in a way that if I do achieve them, hopefully it'll be a net positive compared to 2025. It'll regardless be a net positive. And some of them seem easy, and my brain's like, oh no, just make them a bit harder. For example, I haven't read ever, apart from in high school, and throughout uni, reading journal articles and textbooks, but that's a different kind of reading. But just reading for the sake of reading, I've always wanted to read the Harry Potter books and stuff like that. So I've had a goal to read 12 books, and I'll show you all the goals after, so I'll save it for that. Essentially, that's what this is. It's sort of a plan for 2026, talking about just my goals around my training, my rehab, all my injuries, with uni. This will be my final year of my rehab degree, and my goals with content and with YouTube, financial goals, and that kind of thing. And I thought I'd just get it all out. I've heard a lot of really cool things about reflections and journaling and that kind of thing. And I think this kind of gives me that fix as I get it out in a sort of a creative way. I really like, I love making content. I'd be honest. There's so much stuff that I've filmed throughout my life where or like little, things I've written, little skits here and there that I've just never filmed. I've always just had sort of a wacky, sort of a bizarre mind for, just for things that I think are interesting and entertaining. So I'm trying my best to just be as unfiltered as possible and just get it all out. So hopefully my personality, comes across. Okay, so let's go through this. Who am I? So my name is Omar. I think I said this at the start, but my name is Omar. I'm an exercise scientist. I'm in my final year of studying rehab, whereby I will be an exercise physiologist. Fancy name. Pretty much just means, you're someone who uses exercise science as a form of medicine, really. So you're kind of like a sports doctor, not a sport doctor, that's a different thing, but you're someone who's using exercise and your understanding of nutrition to help cure diseases, help people get toward the, work with athletes, someone who's got diabetes, with that mum or dad who wants to get back into sport, work with someone post-surgery or going into surgery, the unfortunate sufferers of things like cancer and things like that, or overall just be sort of an amazing wondrous, you're basically like a personal trainer, but if you had all the Infinity Stones, right? Big time Marvel fan, by the way, and oh my gosh, they're just what direction are they going in, right? Some things about me, I'm a big time gamer. I'm super into strength and conditioning, and just I love all sport and exercise and movement. I think just movement really. I'm a big fan of movement. I love the gym. I love it. I just love, ever since I was a kid. I remember one of my cousins, we were watching the Street Fighter movie, if anyone knows what that is, and Jean-Claude, or Jean-Claude as I used to call him, I might be saying it wrong still, Van Damme, but he played a character called Guile who had really massive muscles, and as a kid I remember being like, oh my god, that is the coolest thing ever. Obviously he was probably on some secret sauce as well. But I remember my cousin telling me like, yeah, the way to get that is you got to lift weights or whatever, and I was like, oh, and that was my first introduction into that. That's where it all started for me. And I remember he showed me on a chair, he just picked up a chair and started curling it, like doing a hammer curl with both of his hands, or maybe he used one arm. I don't know, he's really strong. I remember he told me to try it, and I did it, and I just remember my arm feeling sore, like, in my bicep, and he's like, yeah, see, like, you keep doing that, it'll get easier as time goes on, and then your muscles get bigger. And ever since then, I just been so into strength and conditioning. I love overall biomechanics, watching athletes run in slow-mo and analyzing the crap out of, their posture and their likelihood of increasing injury risk, or are they, running optimally, stuff from that all the way to, how do you get someone who's suffering from obesity as a result, they're sitting all the time, maybe they develop arthritis or something like that, and now they want to turn their lives around, but they're limited and they can't really move around anymore because there's all these issues, and then just being creative enough to, like, design like a chair exercise program for them to get them moving, showing them all these really cool movements that can eventually get them to moving again, right, to running again, explaining how nutrition works, and all these little clever ways to keep them eating in a way that they like, that serves them and is empowering and that they have control over, whilst also crushing their goals. And there are so many stories I have, and this video will just be too long. I mean, I'm looking at the timer, of which I actually can't see. It says we're 11 minutes in, so if this will probably be edited, so it'll be probably like the 7th minute of the YouTube video. But I would just love to make, I want to say the world, but obviously you got to start small, but I would just love to just have some kind of influence on people's health, and on, like, whether it's going from not really having anywhere to start, and just needing, someone to hold your hand a little bit and, bring you toward the health and fitness side of things. Because there are so many people, I've had so many conversations just this past year. There are so many people who are stuck, and you just need the right conversation, the right person. You just got to say the right sentence that just kind of gives them that little bit of like hope that, oh, it really is doable, and you don't have to go to the gym 5 days a week and get up off your butt because you're undisciplined. And I really believe that having like a more open heart, open-minded, empathetic approach to people who are overweight, just struggling, or anyone with a fitness goal really that's stuck. I've worked with someone, who's struggled to put on weight. I've worked with someone who's built a lot of muscle, but as a result, their posture isn't, they're not happy. It's limited them from like actually participating in a sport that they like, for example, like in a racket sport, where you need decent shoulder mobility. Just little things like that. Like, just anyone that's got a goal that's stuck, I just want to help. That's it, really. I just want to help. Just something about helping people. I don't know. I really get satisfied from it. It's very fulfilling. I don't want to say like, oh, I'm some saint. It really is a selfish thing. It makes me feel good to help, so I do it. I'm that, for people who understand this reference, if we're playing zombies, I'm that guy that will, buy Quick Revive first. So yeah, do your research if you don't understand. Anyway, so that's who I am, and I guess that's why I do what I do. I just love it. I guess I'll talk a little bit about maybe what I would like to post, going forward, before I show all my goals. Essentially, with YouTube, I'd love to post maybe one video a month. I say maybe. I will post one video a month. It's very, very doable. I literally just picked the camera up right now, and I was like, there's no excuse. I'm just gonna do this thing. I don't care. And even if they're like not the best videos, I'm just gonna put them out there. Anything that's gonna help people. I mean, this video here is really sort of an introduction, but it will really be stuff where I'll talk about how I coach, common mistakes, and a lot of things that I see in the fitness industry. Having been in the industry myself as both like what's the word? Someone who consumes the fitness industry in terms of content and the coaching. I bought programs from influencers myself, and just things like that growing up. Like a lot of the problems that I've experienced from them that have left me with issues that I have to deal with lifelong in terms of postural issues and muscle imbalances. A lot of people will get by without these problems until they get them, until they run into that issue and they sort of coast. And so actually a big thing that I do with a lot of my coaching is I spend a lot of time undoing a lot of bad habits that people have, either from working with a personal trainer or like training on their own. Anyway, jumping all over the place. So videos that I'd like to post, case studies from people who tried my coaching and are comfortable enough to talk about it on camera. So have stuff like that. Obviously that's really tricky. A lot of people are really private, myself included. I'm very much an introverted kind of a person, surprisingly to a lot of people, but I really am. What else can I client case studies, talking about in-depth analyses of what did I write here? Facebook. What does that even mean? You know, if someone, for example, has watched this far and they want to comment, because this is a really small page, if they comment like, oh, you know, could you please review my program? Yeah, sure thing. Like, email it through. I'll make a video on it. I'll review it. You know, there's some free coaching for you. I just want to put something that's just going to help someone. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else unless I feel like, oh, it'd be really fun to vlog a workout, or, you know, one day if I jump on and, you know, start playing some of the Call of Duty games and, you know, do a little thing. I don't know. We'll see. But this really, I want it to be for, it's going to sound so silly, but for the people. Like, this is for who, you know, if anyone wants to, like, yeah, you know, I have this goal, this is my circumstance, what do I do? And I'll coach you for free through here. Like, I don't really care, you know, and I might change my mind about that, but I'm fairly confident that that's all I want to do. It makes it really easy for me. I don't have to think about content. I could just sort of react to what people want to see. So that's really what this channel is I'll sort of, I guess, do monthly updates of how I'm going in terms of the goals that I've laid out on my calendars and on the whiteboard. Another thing that we could also talk about, if people are really interested, is the behind the scenes of coaching, sort of the logic between, you know, like behind, like, you know, thinking like, why, you know, is someone getting this bicep exercise, or why is this person's technique good even though it looks weird? Like, why is that okay? And little things like that. I'm just, yeah. So I'll go into some of the goals for the new year. I'll show you right now. It's going to be really weird to both hold the microphone and the camera, but we'll try nevertheless. So here we go. This is my room. Nothing too fancy. There's the calendar. Yes, there is a light here because when I was practicing, well, I mean, look at that. See how it's dark? And now it's a little bit better, right? But when I was practicing, I saw that it was really dark, and I was like, there needs to be a light. There needs to be a light here. So, all right, this is my setup. For now, there's a mirror here, but don't think that I'm staring at myself. This mirror actually isn't part of this room. It's like from, I don't actually know where I got it, but I'm just kind of, yeah, I'll show you. I'm sort of just like cleaning up the area, and sort of still setting up the desk. There are some books I got. Here are some Harry Potter books. I can't wait to read those, hopefully, throughout the year. My calendar. Nothing too crazy, and there I am. Hello. This does feel weird. A lot more natural for sure to just talk to the camera. Anyway. Oh my god, this whole time. Alright, well, I wasn't holding the microphone properly this whole time. Alright, so I'm sure now the audio is getting caught properly. Hopefully the audio is working. I'm paying to edit if it's not. But so there's two things. So there's my whiteboard, which has like a broad kind of the goals that I have just spread throughout the year. Anyway, so I went on a whole ramble, so I'm just gonna cut it short here and just say what my goals are for 2026. So these are the goals for 2026, right? So get a six-pack. I've never had a six-pack. I've had like kind of like outlines of my abs. I used to be obese. I've always had like, you know, I've never been into like if I could snap my fingers and have a six-pack, yes, I'd love to, you know, have my abs pop out. But it's never been for me, I think just because of all the injuries, I really truly value just not having pain when I move. Being able to train and lift really heavy weights, like that is a goal for me. Something maybe a lot of people can do now and maybe take for granted a little bit, is just, you know, just being able to move without pain, I guess. So getting a six-pack, I think that'd be a really cool goal. Read 12 books, reach 5,000 Instagram followers, start running, and then I put pain-free, because yeah, I could run right now, but it would just hurt so much. Post more videos on YouTube. Well, we can cross that off now. Finish uni and get my exercise physiology degree. Get 10 clients online. Finally, the other one is attend Friday prayers. This is something that I haven't done for a long time, and it's one of those things like I you know, just stopped going for a while, and I had all my excuses, and it's something that I really miss now, and I just can't go because of my foot. Like I can go, but I'm just too embarrassed to go and, like, you know, sit on a chair and pray. For anyone that goes to Friday prayers, you know, you probably understand. And yes, it's an excuse, but it's one of the big reasons I wanted to get ahead of rehab, is to try and build toward that. It's something that's really important to me, and I feel silly saying it, you know, like this, but yeah, to a camera. But it is a goal, and I thought I'd share it. And lastly, the last goal is to save $10,000. I thought I'd just throw in a financial goal. It's fun to try save money. It's always fun to have a little goal like that. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you either soon or for our review of January. Bye, guys.